Hi there, Davey Cretin here for Cretin Classics, and today I'm going to start a new series on my channel, and I want to thank my friend Peter Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation. It's a great channel. You should check it out and subscribe to it if you haven't seen it. I've been on there a bunch of times. He helped me with the title for this show. So I'm going to present the first episode right now of Behind the Counter, Tales from the Record Store. And in this episode, I want to focus on something I used to do at my second record store job. Some of you from the New York area, the tri-state area, Long Island, the boroughs, might remember a place. They were in Long Island, they were in Hicksville, they were in Huntington, Long Island, and they had a location in Brooklyn too at one point. Titus Oaks Record Exchange. Then with the advent of CDs in the 80s, they became Titus Oaks, that's Titus OAKS, two words, Titus Oaks CD and Record Exchange. So I worked there for a while, starting in the late 80s. Then we moved down the road and the name changed, but I'll get into that in another episode. So this takes place, the things I'm going to mention take place at Titus Oaks CD and Record Exchange, mainly in Hicksville, New York, but I did eventually work at the Huntington location too. And at the time, I was in charge of displays. I used to put up all the posters to promote all the new records and the reissues, and also what we called flats or trims, and those are the 12 by 12, 1 foot by 1 foot squares of the album cover just shrunk down. Actually, CD form, it would be expanded, or it would be the size of a record cover, maybe a little slightly larger at 12 by 12. So I used to make displays for all the bands with the posters and the trims, and I would add some stuff, my own unique flair into it, where I would look at the CD or the record and just pick out a bunch of album titles and make a little story and stick that in. So they used to have, the labels used to have contests, and whoever in the stores had the best display either won a cash prize or you'd win concert tickets or something. And I did win a few contests back in the day. First one I'll mention, the band Bane. They were on Warner Brothers Records, and eventually their lead singer, Blaze Bayley, went on to sing with Iron Maiden for 2 records in the 90s. The X Factor and Virtual 11, I think. Yeah, Virtual 11 was the title of the second one. So I did a display for his previous band before he was in Maiden called Bane, and I won a denim jacket with a nice Bane patch on the back of it. Somewhere I still have that. So that was, I think, the first contest I won. It was 91 or so when their self-titled debut album came out, if I remember. It could have been the late 80s. I started at the place in 1988. So that was the first concert I ever won. The second contest that I won was for David Bowie. And it was when he was on Ryko Disc, when they had reissued all his old RCA albums from the 1970s and early 80s. They had just come out with that Changes One Bowie collection, Ryko Disc, the record label. And I did a big display in our front window because this was an old hamburger stand, a Wetson's hamburger stand, which was a chain here on the East Coast, and it was turned into the record store. So there was a drive-through at this restaurant at one point, so we had one of those parking lots that went around, sort of like Starbucks do now with the drive-up windows, or banks would drive up windows. And now, oddly enough, the place I worked at is a Dunkin' Donuts. Titus Oaks is now a Dunkin' Donuts. So we had these giant windows. So I made a Bowie display for Changes One, and I won the contest, which was an all-expense-paid trip, hotel, travel. Maybe they picked me because I was in New York and the concert was in Jersey, and it was at the outdoor Meadowlands football stadium at the time. And Bowie was doing his greatest hits tour. He had it billed as the last time I'm playing my greatest hits tour. So I won 2 tickets and a hotel room. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't have a girlfriend. I was single. So I ended up taking a male friend of mine. So it's just one of those weird things, sharing a hotel room, separate beds. And I wasn't dating anyone, so had to go on the trip with a friend. But it was a great show. And the only time I got to see David Bowie. And you know what? I should have put my David Bowie shirt on for this show, but didn't think about it. Oh, well. You've seen it on me in other shows. So that was a pretty cool win in the early 90s. I think it was 91 or 92. maybe. I think that came out in 90, maybe. So it could have been 90, 91, whatever. But it was right after the Wolves Bane. So that was a cool contest win. And my last contest win that I remember involved these guys. This is a 90s alternative rock band. Let me take it out of the jewel case. My friend John the Music Nut says I do that, so there's no glare. A band called Dada. D-A-D-A. And this is their record, Dada's record, their debut album called Puzzle. And they were a three-piece. That's the back cover of the booklet. Here's the guys in the band. They were a three-piece out of California, and they're still around today. They did break up for a while. They put out 4 records in the 90s, and I will be doing a Dada album ranking on my channel. They're back together. Great three-piece. The bass player, Joey, he was the main lead singer. He's the guy over there with the cool floppy hair. That's Michael, the guitar player. And he had some kind of issues where it was a bit of a struggle for him for a while to play guitar. I think the tennis elbow thing, I can't think of the name of what it's called, but he has that and he powers through it. And this is Phil, the drummer. And these two guys basically did the lead vocals, a lot of story songs, and they have, just these guys rock for a power trio. Great band. So if you haven't heard of Dada, check them out. But there was a contest for this album, and I won't say who it was, but one of my female co-workers at the time, I had her dress up, looked really good. It was almost like a Maxim photo shoot, and the display I did on the wall, took some photos of her, like Maxim or Stuff magazine. Nothing, you know, everything was above board. And we sent them in with the display of the album cover. There may have even been some of these little gnome creatures that you see right there. I think we had some of those in the display. Some nice shots of her promoting the record, the band's upcoming tour date, I think, in the early 90s. And I won the contest for this. We won money. So I split it with her because she was a big part of the contest win. So thank you for helping me with that display and for winning us some nice cash for the Dada contest. And sometime later this year, hopefully spring or summer, I will be doing a ranking of the Dada records. So that's just the first episode here of Behind the Counter, Tales from the Record Store. So thanks to my friend Peter Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation for giving me the title. There will be more episodes coming with some strange stories about customers, co-workers, and just some odd things that happened in the record store. So look for upcoming episodes of Behind the Counter, Tales from the Record Store. Davey Cretin for Cretin Classics, reminding everyone to rock out, prog on, and pogo. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment on maybe some of your unusual experiences in record stores. But working in the record stores for decades was a lot of fun and very different from the job I have currently, which is a complete 180 from working in a record store. And it's quite often that I miss working in the record stores. But I did it for over 3 decades. It was oodles and oodles of fun. Thank you very much. Take care. And I'll see you shortly. Bye-bye.